Hey guys, Andrew the Collector here. Today we're going to do a little bit of a different video because not like 10 minutes ago, Konami just announced that they are going to be allowing local tournaments to be in person again. As for regionals and YCSs, they haven't really said anything about that, but they may, they may later on in the year because right now they still have a few remote YCSs that they're still going to do. Plus, I don't think they would want big tournaments like that to be in person quite yet, but for smaller ones like your locals around your area, they're going to be allowing that as of July 15th, which is a Thursday, I believe. Yeah, it's a Thursday. But I thought it'd be cool to bring you a little video for, just the basic necessities of what you should expect to bring at a tournament, whether it be locals or YCSs or regionals or any of the bigger tournaments. So, let's just get right off into just probably, I think the most important thing is a backpack. Now, this backpack I got at Target for $100, but it has all the bells and whistles in it. You can get like any standard backpack that is, real cheap. You just need it to hold your stuff. But the reason I do is because it's lightweight, it's secure, it's slash proof, all that. But it also has its own charging point for your phone, because the charger is one of the things that we're going to get into. But it's soft, it has a lot of latches, and it has a lot of pockets, which is my favorite thing, just to store all of your wonderful stuff. It even has a place to put your glasses in if you bring sunglasses and or have prescription glasses and all that. But yeah, backpack is probably the most important thing that you're going to need because you're going to be lugging a lot of stuff, which we'll get into. The second most important thing, obviously, is your deck. If you don't have a deck, you can't play, and so you're gonna need your deck, but you're also going to need your deck box to protect it because you don't want to be carrying. Just bebopping around, just carrying the deck by itself. You're going to need something to carry it in. Now, this deck box I've had for forever, ever since I started competitive playing, because it's also got a little compartment for your dice. Now, dice is another thing that you're gonna really want because a lot of people use dice to determine who goes first, if not everybody. But they also use it to determine a few things in the game, most notably life points. No, not life points. Counters. They use it to determine counters. But as of whenever it was, Konami said you can't use dice to figure out counters anymore. You have to use actual counters. But that's only for, like the YCSs and the regionals, the more important games. For your locals, a lot of the times they don't care. A lot of the players think that rule is bullshit anyway. But yeah, dice are one of the more necessary things, along with coins. But coins, they only are like for the really obscure cards that require a coin toss, but no one really uses those anymore. Some actually ask you to roll dice, but those are more obscure too. But yeah, deck boxes and dice is definitely a necessity. This one is, it's beat up. I've used it for quite some time. I would highly recommend Ultimate Guard deck boxes because they are really durable. I've had this one a while too, and it's still in pretty good condition. And as you can see, it also has its own dice port. And it holds two decks in it, not just one. But I use it for my Digimon decks. But it is pretty big and clunky, so I don't really bring it along with me to the big tournaments or even my locals sometimes because it's just you can fit a lot in your backpack, but it can get heavy over time. But if you're that person and you don't care, then by all means do it. But I just like to carry around one deck or maybe two at the most if you are with your friends and you want to just play with more of a variety. But it's ultimately up to you with what you want, but you at least want the main deck that you're going to play with, obviously. Next up is going to be a mat and a mat tube, depending on which one that you have. You can use cloth, you can use rubber mats, whichever you want. But if you're going to a big tournament, you're going to want to get one with the zones on it. because a lot of decks nowadays use the column mechanics. So you're going to want to have the mats with the zones in it so you can determine correctly, where they are, so you can accurately gauge. Because let's say that you have one that doesn't have the columns and you're facing against Mech Knights, for example. Unless you guys are very specific to where you place them on your mat, it can get kind of confusing and people can say, he say, she says, or whatever. But if you're going to YCSs or regionals, I definitely recommend you get one with zones. Or depending on your locals, you may want to pick it up too. Now, another thing that you need for the big tournaments especially is a notepad or a calculator, because this is how you determine your life points. For locals, you can use any app that you want on your phone to make it a lot easier, but for your regionals and your big events, they require you to use pen and paper, because I guess it's happened in the past. A lot of people were able to hack into the apps and they were able to alter the life points and kind of do it that way. And I kind of agree with them. Pen and paper is obviously the most honest and accurate way to calculate life points. You can use calculators too, but I personally don't like it because it's just unnecessary. But that's just me. Do whatever you choose. Now, another thing is a trade binder. This is obviously optional for locals or for regionals. You don't have to, but I like to, in case, some people like to bring and trade stuff to trade and make a profit. But depending on where you are, if you're in a store in a locals, they may not allow you to do in-person trading because it's bad for business. But almost all the time you can do it at YCSs and regionals, obviously, since there are vendors there that do sell, but since no one really owns the convention center that has anything to do with Yu-Gi-Oh, you can almost always trade at your local YCSs or regional events that take place. But check with your local card shops to see if they allow it. If they do, great. If they don't, best not to bring it. And this should also segue into bringing your binder with a secure zipper or a strap. Because a lot of things that people like to do at these events is steal from you. That's also why I got this backpack, because I feel it's really secure. Because I feel like all my stuff is safe in here because it has locks on here. It has good zippers. Like I said, it's slash proof. No one can really cut into this easily and get your stuff. It's the same thing with your binders. You want to get heavy duty binders. Ultra Pro is another brand I really recommend because their stuff is sturdy. It's compact and it has zippers and straps on it. So I recommend that you guys pick up these things if you can. If you can't, you can go for something cheaper. Just keep an eye on your stuff and keep it close with you, because a lot of people do like to steal. And when I'm at the events, I don't set my backpack off to the side. I either keep it in between, crisscrossed in between my legs, or I just keep it on my person like this. And it's also really good to reach in there and grab your stuff and put it back in real quick when you're done with the tournaments. Do that, especially at the YCSs or events. Another thing that I want to bring to your attention is at the big tournaments, the YCSs and regionals specifically, bring food. Bring your own food, whether that's snacks, whether that's fruit bars, whether that's water bottles. Bring water bottles above anything else. Because at the big events, they do have vendors where they can sell food and concessions, but my God, they can get expensive. So bring your own food, because you're going to be there all day. You're going to be walking around. You're going to be lugging around all your stuff. You're going to be burning calories, especially when you're playing the game, because not a lot of you know is that when you're playing the game, you use your brain a lot because it's a pretty in-depth strategy game. So your brain's burning calories, your muscles are burning calories, you're going to be hungry. Bring food. Above anything else, bring food. Bring money in case you have money to spend and you can buy stuff at the vendors. Yeah, bring money. Bring money to buy cards from vendors, bring money to buy food, bring money for emergencies. Always have spare cash on you. If you have your debit card, great. Not a lot of people take debit card, but have money on you in general for emergencies. One thing that you're also going to need is Konami ID. I think I have one around actually. Yep, I do. Oh god, it's old. It's pretty faded away, but you're going to want to pick one of these up if you want to participate in any kind of tournament, whether it's the locals or regionals or YCSs, because there's a little number here on the back, and they put that as your Konami ID, so that way they have your official points for the tournaments. For your locals, you only need to put this in once, because then they'll have it on file. For regionals and YCSs, when you fill out the registration forms, which you print out online, you're going to need to fill out your deck list, and you're going to need to put this in, so that way they have your ID. And I just threw it. But yeah, there are certain things that you're going to need is, the Konami ID, you're going to need to get your registration slip, and you're going to need your deck list. You're only going to need the deck list and the registration slip for the big tournaments. If you're doing locals, you don't need any of that, unless your locals is hosting an official Konami event, like Yu-Gi-Oh! Day, like qualifiers, or if they're doing their own mini YCS invitational kind of thing. Unless they're doing those, you don't need your deck list every time you go to locals. I mean, it's going to be like a 24-person tournament. It's versus like almost 1,000-person tournament. So, yeah. And I believe that is about it. We pretty much covered all the essentials. Like I said, if you're going to your locals, you obviously need your deck with the dice. You're going to need your mat, your backpack, your ID for your local stuff. But for the bigger tournaments, you're going to need your binder. You're going to need your notepad and pen. You're going to need your registration slip. You're pretty much going to need all the above if you're going to a big name tournament. But yeah, if I missed anything, please leave it in the comments below for people who are watching this video and don't really know what to bring. But yeah, if you guys like this video, please like and subscribe. Hit that bell for notifications. Let us know if you want us to do more videos like this, to where we give you guys tips or advice in different parts of the game, or in things that you really wouldn't even think of. But yeah, please like, comment, subscribe, and we will catch you guys later.